Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bison Basketball Show. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Shawn. It was rivalry weekend for the North Dakota State men's and women's basketball teams, with both heading north to take on North Dakota on Saturday in Grand Forks. Last year on the men's side, the Bison pulled off the victory on the Hawks' home floor. NDSU looking to snap a three-game losing streak, and hot out of the gates, Tyson Ward left alone for three, and he knocks it down, a part of an 11-0 run to start the game. Midway through the first half, Ward would drive and leave it for Spencer Eliason for two more. NDSU still on top, 31-17 with 10 minutes to go. Paul Miller also had a big night, driving inside and flipping in the reverse. Miller scored 12 first-half points. Bison continued to lead by double digits. After UND crept within 6, A.J. Jacobson driving around his man, hesitating and scoring. NDSU shooting 58% from the floor in the first half. That included 7 of 13 from three-point range. Jared Samuelson hitting a pair of triples, scoring 6 points. NDSU led it by 7 at the half. In the second half, Eliason, great look on the alley-oop to Ward, who's able to finish at the rim. He scored 15 points on the night. The Hawks would rally to tighten things up. Gino Crandall launching and hitting the long three. He scored 20 points, and it's down to a 1-point lead, but the Bison never lost the lead. Ward feeding Miller for the layup. It rolls off, but Eliason there for the tip-in. He had 9 points and 4 rebounds as NDSU pushes the lead back to 7. With just over 5 minutes to go, Jacobson feeding Miller again, this time able to get the lay-in to fall. Miller scored a game-high 30 points on 12 of 16 shooting. Moments later, Cameron Hunter dropping in the high-arcing three from the top of the key. Hunter some big shots late and scored 9 points off the bench. Up 6 with under a minute to go, Jacobson putting the game away, hitting the off-balance three. He scored 12 points and grabbed 6 rebounds as the Bison snap a 3-game losing streak, 88-79. North Dakota was 29 of 34 from the free throw line, but NDSU shot 60% from the floor and 13 of 22 from three-point range.
We pride ourselves on being physical, so, when you're on the road, you can't expect anything, so we just came in, we focused on ourselves. It feels great to get the win.
I thought that's just a credit to our mentality coming into the game, like you said, huge rivalry game, and we just wanted to get back on a little winning streak here. We lost 3 in a row, so I thought this was a big confidence boost for our team, and hopefully it can help us going forward.
The Bison returned home to host Valley City State on Tuesday night, and NDSU hot again from the floor. Sophomore Dangu able to play some extended minutes and scored 6 early points, including 2 on this lay-in. But the Bison just getting started. Chris Quayle, the pick and roll with Dylan Miller, and Miller left all alone for the two-hand jam. Bison up 16 late in the first half. Junior college transfer Namdi Van Dolm scored 7 points off the bench, including 2 on this driving layup with the clock ticking down. North Dakota State led 46-24 at halftime. Tyson Ward got things started on a positive note in the second half with a couple of big dunks. Ward was 5 of 6 from the floor and scored 11 points in 21 minutes. Quayle then able to connect for one of NDSU's 8 three-pointers as the Bison begin to pull away. Quayle adding 7 points and 3 rebounds. Then 2 freshmen out in transition. Cameron Hunter, the no-look bounce pass to Rocky Cruiser for the lay-in. Cruiser chipping in with 17 points. And the exclamation point with a minute to go as Hunter throws the alley-oop to Gu for another big finish. Gu led all scorers with 18 points, and the Bison roll 101-58. NDSU shot 70% from the floor and got 51 points off the bench to improve to 5-5.
Coach emphasized it that the second team has to be just as good as the first team. So the second wave just comes in and competes as hard as they can. I feel a lot more confident this year, gained some weight, feel like I'm in better shape, so it's definitely feel more confident.
I mean, just getting to practice every day, every game. Like I said, just getting more comfortable. We got the talent on the team. It's just everyone just getting together, grooving together, and being more comfortable.
The Bison will head south for another road trip next week, starting with a game at Arizona. Stay with us. Coming up next, we chat with head coach David Richman to get his reaction on the past 2 games and take a look ahead.
The Bison Basketball Show on Midco Sports Network is presented by Nodak Insurance Company, Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, and Proceed.
Welcome back. We are joined by NDSU men's basketball coach David Richman to break down the Bison's 2 victories over this past week over North Dakota and Valley City State. And Dave, I know first and foremost it feels good just to get back in the win column again. It had been 168 games the last time your program had a 3-game losing streak, and your guys really handled it the right way.
No question, and I didn't even know the number was that big. And losing just leaves that just bad taste in your mouth. So to go up, at your rival North Dakota and come out right away out of the gates and play well and get that win, most importantly, felt really good. And hopefully a game like that, an atmosphere like that, and most importantly getting a win in a game like that can build for us.
You went through some adversity in that game, but the way your guys shot the ball, and that was one thing I know you even had talked to your team about, is we just got to shoot the ball better and get reps in our gym and practice, and it seemed to work. 60% in North Dakota, 70% against Valley City State. Good to see the ball go in the basket as much as it did.
Well, no question. I think being at home, getting to that normal routine where you can actually have a practice, when you can actually get into the gym on your own, get into the gym with the coaches and rep through some things. And again, to go back to your point, what I was most pleased with is, besides the start, the way we came out of the gates, is North Dakota, like you'd expect, made a good push at us and cut it to 1, and we really played with tremendous poise down the stretch and executed. And that's a game in so many ways we can build that confidence. And our offensive numbers, mind you, going into those last 2 games were against some really good teams on the road too. So we knew they would even out. We knew we were a capable offensive team, and we showed that last couple games, and hopefully we can continue to build.
Already a third of the way through the schedule. It has just flown by here in this first month. What are your initial thoughts, I guess, on what you like, what still needs work, and how this thing is going so far?
Well, I think most importantly, I like our guys. We still have some young guys that need to continue to mature on and off the court, which you'd expect when you coach in college basketball. But we've spent a lot of time together since November 9th or 10th when we hit the road to Santa Barbara, and they're a good group. They take care of their business. They've done well in the classroom thus far, and that's the most important thing to me. Where can we grow? Where can we get better in so many areas? We've got to clean up some of the turnovers. We're playing a little bit faster, which is encouraging, maybe some easy buckets, but we can't lose our identity being a good, tough-minded defensive team, and part of that is being able to rebound, and we've been able to do that the last couple games.
For some of the young guys that have come along, and we talked about very early in the season, intertwining the new with the old, you really don't see a divide there at all. It just seems like everybody's just blended together, and in terms of coming together, it just seems very comfortable for everyone.
And I think that's a credit to the top and also a credit to the bottom as well. AJ and Paul have done a tremendous job of leading us and grabbing those young guys and saying, hey, the time is now. But also those young guys have really gained some confidence along the way. Rocky Cruiser, Chris Quayle, so some of those guys come to mind right away. And again, we have that versatility, we have that depth, now we need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, 25 bench points on average per game. That's significantly above where it was last year. Moving ahead, another road trip, why not, right? You get done with finals at least, and you can concentrate on basketball a little bit. Going to Arizona, then 2 games in a tournament in El Paso, Texas in the Sun Bowl Invitational. What do you hope to accomplish? Because that's another long road trip.
No question, but it's a different one where you're out of school. You don't have to worry about that. You live that NBA life a little bit where you can eat, sleep, and play basketball. And so it's an exciting time, but they're important games for us. Arizona is certainly going to be a tremendous challenge, and then the Sun Bowl tournament, it's a great event, and we're excited to be a part of it. And again, we need to build, we need to grow, but we need to win a couple games too along the way and build that confidence, grow that confidence as we round into Christmas break.
Now, fortunately, the way the schedule worked out, you finish that tournament up in El Paso, and then everybody kind of scatters from there and will head home, and you get an extended break around the holidays and around Christmas for the first time in a while. That's got to feel good for everybody.
I'm not the Scrooge this year like I was last year to the players' moms, where we came back, Christmas Eve last year and then practiced twice on Christmas Day. But the way the schedule worked out, it's nice. They get 3 full days, and if you include the travel days, it's 5. But we'll bring them back the 27th and start prep. And again, we're in 10 games to the non-conference into our season. But the important part's coming up right after break. Yeah, you talk about the important part. Is it hard to believe that Summit League play is just a couple of weeks away? I mean, your rival South Dakota State is coming in here in just over 2.5 weeks. No question. As hard as it is to believe, it's really exciting. All right, Dave, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and best wishes to you over the holidays, and we'll see you after the new year. Thanks, Brian. Happy holidays to you as well. All right, appreciate that. Dave Richman here joining us on the Bison Basketball Show. Stay with us. Maren Walseth and company also had a big matchup with North Dakota in Grand Forks. We'll recap that game and check in with the head coach after this timeout on the Bison Basketball Show.
Welcome back to the show. The North Dakota State women's basketball squad nearly came up with its 6th victory last week at home, but had an even bigger challenge this past Saturday, hitting the road to take on North Dakota. NDSU's last victory at UND was back in 2003, and it was tight all the way. Bison down one early, no one picking up Michelle Geislerova in transition, and she connects on the three to give NDSU the lead. Late in the first quarter, Autumn Ogden driving and leaving it for Danica Vagley for the lay-in, tied at 14 apiece after one quarter. Riley Jacobson turned in another strong performance, getting position inside, scoring at the rim plus the foul. Moments later, Taylor Thunstead would dribble down court and launch a deep triple to give NDSU a 6-point lead. Thunstead had 9 points. But UND a 14-3 run to close out the first half. Melissa Daly feeding Fallon Freege in the paint for the lay-in. Freege scored a game-high 26 points, and the Hawks led it by 5 at the half. Late third quarter, Bison down 6 when Geislerova lines one up, connecting on another three-pointer. She was 4 of 7 from long range and scored 19 points off the bench. Then Jacobson going back to work, posting inside, going high off the glass. She chipped in with 13 points and 6 rebounds. Game tied at 50 going into the fourth quarter. Bison down 6 with 4 minutes to go. Somehow, Sarah Jacobson able to get this shot to fall. She scored 13 points to trim the lead to 4. But UND one final run to put the game out of reach late. Jill Morton, the reverse lay-in with 1:20 left, and the Bison fall to 5-5 on the season with the 79-68 loss. NDSU had only 8 free throw attempts compared to North Dakota's 32, but did shoot 9 of 17 from three-point range.
It was really good. The competition was really good. That's something we've talked about in practice for a few days, that we have to be really tough and that we have to compete, and I think that's exactly what we did today. It was tied. We felt like we're going to get it, but then we had a bad moment or two, and they pulled away a little bit, and we just couldn't make the comeback.
I mean, it's not the outcome that we wanted, but it definitely, I think, gives us hope and confidence moving forward that we can compete, that if we have mental toughness and physical toughness, that we can hang with anyone. So we just got to build off of it.
All right, we now welcome in Maren Walseth to the sets to chat about the NDSU women's game against UND this past Saturday. And Maren, a tight basketball game, tied at 50 going into the fourth quarter. Some pressure situations, good atmosphere. How do you feel like your kids handled that situation?
Never happy with a loss, but certainly there were positives and bright spots within the game. I really thought our competitiveness showed through as well as our mental toughness. There were times that we were down 4 or 6 points and we were able to climb back up and even take the lead at times. So I think there's been a lot of growth in our program over the last 10 days or so.
We saw Michelle Geislerova come off the bench and hit a couple of big shots. Riley Jacobson had some big shots. It was good to see those kids in that setting have the games they did.
Absolutely, and you never know how that's going to go. Last year the game was at our place, so Riley Jacobson had never been. That sophomore class has never played up there in Grand Forks, and obviously Michelle being a freshman, things on the road are always different for those people as well. So I was very pleased with the competitiveness that the whole squad, including all the new people, demonstrated.
One number that has stood out to me, and I think probably to you as well, the assists to turnover ratio. 17 assists on Saturday and 27 made field goals. On the season, 16.3 turnovers last season. This season, 13 a game, so 3 down there. Assists are up a game from 12.7 a year ago to 15 a game this season. What do you attribute that to? Is that just the guards getting stronger with the ball, or just a better understanding of what you guys are doing?
I think there's a number of things at play. First and foremost, our ball handlers are stronger with the basketball and physically stronger. I think our receivers are looking to shoot the basketball more, leading to our assists. And there's a better understanding of each other's play. Not necessarily the offense. I felt we understood the offense very well last year as well, but understanding what your teammates are going to do and really putting them in positions to be successful. I'm very, very pleased and very happy with how we are sharing the basketball and playing with and for each other this year.
There were some tweaks to the offense a little bit in the offseason. You did a little bit more motion, able to maybe, I think, utilize the skill sets of your players you had, plus the incoming kids you were bringing in. That has seemed to really reflect in the way the kids are playing with confidence, and they look more comfortable out there.
I think it really energized how they play, and we really went from the approach of you have to do this, and then you have to do this, and then you have to do this, to giving them options. You can do A or B, and both are correct, and really giving them the confidence to showcase their skill sets and what they are capable of doing, rather than being confined or feeling that they are confined to a specific play.
It was a lot of games and not a lot of days. And to get a whole week between games, playing up in Grand Forks, to playing Saturday against Cal Poly, and then 2 games at Florida. But I'm guessing this break probably came at a pretty good time, especially with finals this week.
Absolutely. You're on the road for a good amount of time, like you mentioned, and then you do have a holiday break coming up. So this week with finals is fantastic for the student athletes to really focus on their academics, take some time, be students first, and then come back and just do some basketball here at the end of the week before we prepare and before we go to Florida.
That's right, and they get some legs back, hopefully, too, after a lot of games. Cal Poly on Saturday. You played out there last year in a tournament. It's kind of fun. You're getting a lot of rematches this year. We saw that with UMass. We saw it with UT Rio Grande Valley. And every time you've played these teams for a second time, you fared much, much better. Yes, you're home, but it seems like you guys are more prepared to handle some of these teams this year.
I think there's a couple things. Obviously, home versus away is a big deal, but also the maturity of our players and the confidence that they're playing with, the strength that they have, just how they have matured and their games have matured. I think we're seeing that in the common opponents from last year to this year.
All right, then off to Florida for 2 games. Enjoy. It's a good time to get away, Mara, so
Absolutely.
Have a good time down in the sunshine.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in a couple of weeks here on the Bison Basketball Show. Stay with us. We have more to come as we check in with Spencer Eliason, one of the junior big men for North Dakota State, off to a good start here in his junior season. That's coming up next. Welcome back. Growing up in Chadron, Nebraska, basketball was always a part of life for Spencer Eliason. His father, mother, and brother were all college athletes in the upper Midwest. He got his first start in late November and is making the most of the minutes he's getting. We go one-on-one with the Bison Junior. All right, time for another edition of One-on-One. We are joined by Spencer Eliason, who is a junior big man here for the North Dakota State Bison. And redshirt your first year, Spencer. I know big thing for you is just trying to put on some bulk and some weight and get adjusted to the college game. What was the toughest part for you, or what did you have to work hardest on when you first got here?
Definitely changing my body was huge. Not only just putting on weight, but shedding some of that bad weight, putting on some good weight. And Coach Miller's doing a great job, not just only with me, but you can see all the guys. But coming from C1 basketball in Nebraska, it's a big speed difference, and you're not used to going up against six guards like Paul Miller and stuff like that all the time. So adjusting to that takes a while, but I think it's been very good.
Pretty good basketball genes in your family. I had a brother that played at the University of Minnesota. Went through a lot of different stuff going on there. What do you take away from his experience? What advice did he give you?
He told me just enjoy the moment mostly, I think, and that's the thing I take the most. Just it's going to end at some point. He luckily had a little bit of time overseas after he had an injury, but you just enjoy. You can't really control what's going on around you. Just do what you can control and enjoy your time.
All right, so you got the ball, and I know one thing you had to work a lot on your footwork when you got here. I know the coaches spent a lot of time on that. What was the toughest part for you to adjust to with your footwork when you first got here?
So the biggest thing we've been working on is right now is I want to catch right here on the block. I don't want to settle for catches out here. A lot of time when I was first year, I wasn't strong enough, so I was getting my catches out here. Big difference that foot or two makes now. So biggest thing I'm working on is getting my foot here, getting that wide stance, getting the catch, and then from here, I just want to be patient, use my feet, give what the defense gives me, basically.
Is it hard to stay patient as a big guy? Because the game moves so fast, all of a sudden you get the ball and you're like, okay, I got to do something right away. Does your mind almost have to catch up with your body a little bit in that regard?
It's kind of like you're down here, you're battling for position, it's getting physical, and then you get the ball, you just gotta. It's tough, especially you can see with our younger guys. They just want to go up with it, or if you get an offensive rebound, just go up with it. It's tough to kind of have that patience, but over the years, it's something you just, it's for the best. So you just want to take your time, see what the court gives you, and the more time you spend patient, it's harder on the defense. It's better for you. So basically doing that, it gives you an advantage. You can see the floor. You can do the best thing for the team, pretty much.
So Spencer, off the court, you get away from basketball. What do you like to do? What is one thing that you just like to get away from and work on?
I love golfing. So me and AJ we both pretty good golfers. He's a better golfer than me. I know he'll want to hear that. But I've been getting the Fargo Pass, like to go out golf, been getting Paul kind of into it. He's not very good, just so everyone knows, but he's getting better. He's getting better, and that's one thing I like to do a lot. It's pretty fun.
Well, that's awesome, man. Good to see what you're doing. And we'll look forward to your junior season.
Can't wait.
All right, Spencer Eliason, one-on-one. Eliason has already played more minutes this season than he did the previous 2 combined and is shooting 46% from the field. Stay with us as we close out this week's episode of the Bison Basketball Show and take a look ahead.
The Bison Basketball Show on Midco Sports Network is presented by Nodak Insurance Company, Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, and Proceed.
This will be our last episode of the Bison Basketball Show in 2017. We will start up again just after the new year as conference play gets rolling. The Bison men have one more long road trip before returning home, taking on Arizona Monday, then heading to El Paso, Texas for the Sun Bowl Invitational for 2 games starting with UNC Wilmington. NDSU then returns home to host the University of Jamestown before starting Summit League play. The Bison women play once more at home against Cal Poly on Saturday at 7 p.m. That game can be seen on Midco Sports Network. Maren Walseth and company will then head to Florida for 2 games at the Florida International Holiday Tournament, returning back home to host Dakota State on December 29th. Happy holidays, everyone, and we will see you again in 2018.